Breakfast Club. Let me turn the camera around if I can. Let me move my phone up. There we go. All right, so here's what's going on. I have this chip up here, particle board, Danish teak. I'm just going to take some quick wood here. I'm going to put just a little bit on there and make sure I mash it in there with my trusty, it's my Rockler putty knife, super flexible blade, rounded edges so I don't scratch stuff up. A really good tool, kind of deceptively simple, but definitely a weapon in my arsenal. I have done a lot of good little repairs with this guy. And then I'll just make sure I have enough. I have to come back this way later to pick up the kids from school. So this will be dry then, and I'll sand it back and do some colorizing and put some grain into it, some other stuff. It's pretty far up and out of sight, so not that you shouldn't do your best. I bring this down, see if you can see my face. Not that you shouldn't do your best every time, because that's important, but some things are just less critical than others, and your time is important too. And so don't kill yourself trying to be too perfect, because it's counterproductive. Yeah. So turning this thing, because the biggest issue is the door, which has been for a while. Let me adjust the camera, see if anybody's actually watching. We got one person, so that's always a start. So hello, person. So I'm going to put these guys back in the box. If you haven't seen this before, it's my travel box. I have all my Timbermates in there. I have some markers in the bottom. I have my quick wood. These are 3 different kinds of brown pigments, so I can mix it into quick wood or the Timbermate, so you can change colors with that. These are feet that I put on stuff that just happen to land here. Then there's a red pigment, a black pigment, and some close-up glasses in case I'm too blind to see what I'm doing up close. Let's see. Oh, we're up to 6 people. So this is a Danish teak bookshelf. I got this for very little money. You will notice it has one door. People who have watched me do this stuff before will know that I've been working on this for a while. Over here is the other door. I'm going to gently remove this. There's a block underneath to help disperse the pressure so that hopefully I didn't dent the door too much. You'll see some Timbermate patches here, filling that in. And then let's see, the orientation is it's going to go on like this. So the deal was that I put this on here. It wasn't as tight as it could be. And I noticed that this actually has a bottom and this one didn't. And so I was a little concerned that without reinforcing this with some quick wood, that it might not stay in place the way it should. These are, I guess, what I'd call press fit. They have ribs in these cups, these European style hinges. And so they just get pressed in there and lock into place. And so you'll see that, oh, that could be a problem. Right, I'm going to have to break some of that quickwood out of the way. All right, I'm going to have to get a chisel in there and cut that back. I didn't really think about how much I was putting in the cut. So anyways, it's supposed to do that. I'm going to have to carve that back. That was dumb. But the, let's see. So anyways, I reinforced it with quickwood. I overloaded it with quickwood. I'm going to have to see if I've got a chisel with me small enough to chop that out. But what I'm saying is I rebuilt this edge because it was completely blown out. And in trying to reinforce this, I went a little overboard with the fill. So I'm going to have to see if I can maybe get it with a screwdriver. This is one of those things about fixing stuff on the fly and on location. Sometimes you got to make do with what you have on hand. We're getting there. As you can see, this is live and unrehearsed and unscripted. This thing has just continued to be problematic. And the biggest problem is I don't have a shop large enough at home at the moment to really make it convenient to get it home. And do some of the things I'm doing here now. Oops. So right under the hinge, I think it's clogged here. If you want to, hopefully I'm not putting dents into my project as I'm trying to fix my project. We lost a bunch of people. That's fine. So Lock 5008 said hi, hi. Che, Stefafa. Okay. Let's get down here where you can see what I'm dealing with. I'm going to grab. Grab a screwdriver. Check and see. I don't know why I didn't consider this when I put it in there, but if this ever happens to you, learn from my disasters. Thankfully, the quickwood is not so hard that I can't carve it out. See if we're getting close. Oops. Destroy that corner. Still see what I'm doing. And I wonder why nobody watches my channel. Doing dumb stuff like this. This is supposed to be the easy money, is flipping furniture. I don't want to take all the quick wood out because it is helping reinforce this cup hinge now. Let's see if I've got something sharper. All right, here's a fixed blade knife. We use this on a bathroom job at home. We used it to clean out the grout lines for the tile. And that looks like a decent blade. So, non-retractable, but that's what you want if you use this to shove into grout lines to clean out your grout. Which means it's good at pushing into small spaces. This is a bit of adventure I really did not anticipate. So I thought I would just have to quick wood this cup hinge in there and there would be enough of it left to where I could throw the door on there and take a picture of it and sell it. But if there's one rule to working on furniture is that there's always surprises. It's interesting, there's this metal ribbon here. That's the, it kind of loosens up or flexes. That's where the spring action comes from. So I think that is hitting in here. Close. Very close. Go a little wider. it's not quite as far back as the other one. Wow, I did not expect this live broadcast to be so intense and boring at the same time. So I apologize to anybody still with me through this whole thing. I'm a little bit baffled on. It's a little bit humbling to say that I'm going to have to cut my repair out to fix this, but I'm going to have to kind of cut my repair out to fix this. I feel like I've cut away all the contact areas. Well, I pretty much cut out all the quick wood. I don't know. Let's put it on the body and see how it looks. It's not quite getting to 90 degrees though. It's not quite all the way there, and I need to figure out why. This is why I carry the close-up glasses now. toolbox. Put on my Ben Franklin's here and get a good look at what's happening. There's some stuff on the bottom. I think it's just well, let's put it on the door frame and see what happens. Take one last look. Try to figure out. I think there's just a last little bit of quick wood under the hinge. All right, so that's 90. Yeah, anyways. Ooh. I apologize deeply for how boring this is. So let's get to the semi-interesting part. Let's get the door out of the way for a second. Need to remove this, but I'm going to say this is the reality of furniture flipping. I was going to do a segment about whether it's better to flip a piece of wood or furniture. So would it be better to produce my own furniture so I'm not at the mercy of the junk I come across? Because really, a lot of times, if you're flipping, you're making your best money off other people's garbage. It's the stuff people have given up on. All right, so that is reattached. I had it on before, and then I noticed I needed to do the quick wood on there, and that was a huge error. And it's sort of banging in up there. So here's where we adjust the hinge if we can. I'll loosen the Euro hinge here. I'll push this in as far as it'll go. Oh, there's the problem. The set screw is So I'm pushing the door in as far as it'll go. It'll lock in before running these screws in. A little bit of a wiggle. Yeah, didn't get this one tight. You know, if you've ever dealt with European hinges, this is a super cool system in a lot of ways because they're adjustable, so you can really tune in your door. But at the same time, pull this guy out farther so I can tighten this up. It could be a little bit mystifying as to how to lock these in. So anyways, they're not banging into each other. Kind of set. All right, so wow. Trying to tell if my stupid cup is pulling out. Oh, just ran my head into the thing. I think it's kind of, it is what it is sort of thing. Maybe a hair better. All right. So back up and survey the damage here. Definitely going to come with a warning to speed through the boring parts. So let's see. I have a little repair up here at Timbermate, and then I have some stuff on the door, and then I have some scratches that I filled that are noticeable down here. So typically what I do with those, what I'll do with these, besides sand them and clean them up, let's see. Nobody's watching right now, so I'm going to dig into my bucket. I'm going to grab a battery. I'm going to run past the camera. I'm going to get my battery powered vacuum. So I was hoping we'd be doing this instead of me stabbing a door with a screwdriver. This is something I'm super excited about. So All right, we've got one person viewing again. Press in the tabs here, plug in the vacuum, and then we'll go with the big hose, pick up the crumbles. Then we'll grab some sandpaper. Actually, I'll just grab the sanding block. Somebody didn't unlock their space before opening the door. All right, so this is the Festool HSK hose and sanding block. That is 320. I did put the 1/4 inch. It's like a squishy pad, the Velcro pad. There's just a piece of Velcro here to protect the hooks. Then there's another squishy pad, and then this. And then there's, as you can see, there's a hose. You can open up this green air gate so you can let less vacuum or more vacuum. I'm going to go all vacuum. So I'm going to take this back. Okay, I'm about to change the angle. There's one up here. It's gonna be kind of hard to see for you. So let me get that out of the way. So now what I do is I take my Varathane markers here, and usually it's the cherry, and I will get some color into the repair. Yeah, I guess that's far enough down. And I'll smear it so it's not just like some little kid drawing with a marker. I'm going to touch these spots up with a little bit of gel stain so that I'm colorizing and blending a little bit, but also I want to seal the quickwood repair. So let's go down here where there's a little bit less lighting issues. You'll see that Teak is actually pretty great to touch up because repairs just do a pretty good job of blending in. If this is too much, like you get the marker on too heavy, you can take some alcohol and spread it around. I don't think I have any with me. And stay away from denatured alcohol unless you're wearing gloves and masked up, because it's super toxic. And the companies don't really tell you. You think it's, you know, it's alcohol, so it's like cheap vodka or something, and it's not. It's I believe wood alcohol, and it's really bad for you, and it's going to give you a warning, but yeah, it's basically like the warnings you get: do not drink gasoline. And you know, nobody should be drinking gasoline, but you don't really understand how bad the fumes and stuff are for it as well. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get some color into the quickwood so that it sticks and it's kind of already blended. And this is a place where I like to take a little bit rougher sandpaper and clean out the grain, because the teak has a pretty good amount of texture to it. And there's just some blemishes. All right, that one turned into kind of a mole, so that was a little over the top. And then just this one last little spot here. So I'm going to say that's pretty good. There is a spot here. So my door doesn't fall off. So I think that's pretty good for that. So the other thing I'm going to do is I have these things over here. And I need some cardboard. Just knocked off my microphone. And I wanted to do some touching up on these guys. Did a quickwood repair on, let's see, you see the corner. So I added some quickwood here, over here, so I need to sand that back. There's a new guy running the rental place I'm at. I don't know if he's cool or if he's a jerk, so I gotta wait till he leaves after doing a walkthrough to start putting gel stain on this thing. So anyways, nobody's watching. That's about right. So let's see. big bag of gloves that I've put to use. And I'm going to need a rag. All right, so I'm going to take my chocolate pudding candlelight gel stain. It is mid-century modern and Danish modern in a can. It is exactly the warm, reddish, light brown tone you need to dress up so much furniture that has that perfect color vibration. And so let's see, where are we at? Put a dab on here. Just hit it. I've said it before, I have a bad habit of using gel stain like a furniture polish. But if you're flipping furniture, it really is a wonderful tool. So what you want to do is you want to wipe it on and you want to wipe it back. And my understanding is it is a urethane, so it's a poly that the pigments are floating around in. So it offers some protection, but you do want to seal it. I like using the rag when I'm doing these retouches, because what happens is the paper towel essentially does a really good job of picking up any loose debris. So I have all these scratches and all this stuff going on in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit this whole area. Give it a shot there. I'll give it a little bit more on this level. So like I said, usually I've done well with bookshelves. I get them for $40 or $50, and then I turn around and sell them for $200 without much work if they're in good shape. This one should be worth more because of the door that got kicked off. And so that's why I'm going the extra mile, as well as making videos about what it's going to take to repair a door the way that I did. So I'm going to let that dry out and look for any spots that are kind of dried out or lost their nice teak color. But anyways, let's see. Oh, inside the door. I give this a wipe. Kind of blend in the any quickwood residue. I think that's going to be good. This thing was kind of destined to go to the dump if I didn't put it together. So, and then I think I can sell this for close to 300. So, let's do a quick tour here. So the doors are on there. They're looking pretty. They're not touching each other. That's the biggest thing. You can see the quickwood. There's some scratches. That's what's left of them. I can even take a little bit more. Dab it on and wipe it back. But from here, you can't hardly see any of the kitten scratches. There was a chip or dent over here. That's pretty much gone as long as I have the gel stain. Just smush some color into it. And so, yeah, that's that guy. Hopefully I can come back and just kind of clean up that corner once it's dry and set. And I'll be able to put that up for sale. I'm going to put this back on the tripod.